Blackburn Rovers head into this weekend's match up against Tony Mowbray's old boys, Coventry City, staring at 5 defeats in a row. But will it be 6 or will Rovers turn it around? We'll take a look at it next. Back once again with another prediction show. Today we take a look at Blackburn Rovers, take a look at Coventry City, Anywhere Park, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, stop what you're doing, swallow what you're doing, and smash the old subscribe button to get your bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related. Championship related, world football related. We're going to go here. Underwaruski, that's right, boys and girls. Mowbray's boys taking on his old boys. That's right, Coventry City. In fact, it's not only his old boys, it's Adam Armstrong's old boys, it's Waggett's old boys. It's a bloody well family reunion coming at Anywhere Park in just a little bit. We'll talk about that in a minute, of course. Big shout out to the Patreons. You know who you are, the VIP band of brothers supporting the channel behind the bloody scenes. I do appreciate that, guys. If anyone else is out there interested in becoming the latest member of the Patreon gang, check out the link down below, patreon.com/Roverseas. But anyway, without further ado, I'm a little bit late, guys. I'm a little bit bloody late. But we're here taking a look, of course, at Rovers, taking, of course, Coventry City this weekend. That's right. Tony Mowbray, of course, formerly managing Coventry City, will take on Mark Robbins for what will be the 7th time in his career managerial head-to-head. Of course, coming out on top, not really. It's all square, two games apiece and 2 draws. In fact, Mowbray has actually managed against Coventry 11 times, winning 7 of them, though. 3 defeats and 1 draw. That's, of course, over the span of his career. Pick up on average around about 2 points a game. But let's take a look at Rovers then, shall we? Of course, heading into this one. This will be our 32nd game of the season. Coventry are actually already at that number. On average, scoring about 11, just 1 goal a game with 11 shots per match. Picking around about 4 corners. 48% area success rate, 48% pass possession, and of course 72% pass success rate. As for Rovers, though, this is our 31st game. Of course, on average 14 shots per game, 1 goal, of course, on average. 5 corners, which are shot always short. There's no surprise, no punches there pulled. Kicking off with a 44% aerial success rate. Again, that's because we don't usually ping the ball in the air. That's why we're so successful at it. Possession, of course, 55%. Of course, 77% pass success rate as well. Kicking off forward, then let's take a look at the home versus their away stats coming at you. On average, we pick up around about 2 goals a game. Addy with 13 shots on the day as well, compared to their 12. Pretty much the same sort of numbers as you trickle down here. 52% error success rate for Rovers, and again, everything else goes in Rovers' favour. But of course, what really matters is at the end of the day is if we get the win. We should win this game. This is it for me. If I've been vocal, I've been passionate about Mowbray throughout his tenure, and I've supported him, and it's just been the recent slump since the Preston game. Really, that's when and then the Barnsley one. Barnsley, Forest, Watford, those 3 have kind of pushed me into the corner where I've said to myself, this is it, you know, and this is probably, in my eyes, should be the last game in his tenure. Of course, let's take a look at some numbers here, of course, coming at you. Of course, start of the season, this was absolutely nowhere near this, but that's what it looks like right here, right now. So this is Rovers' possession, how they spread it around out the field, of course, both home and away, throughout the game. Of course, on average, 30% of their possession is kept in their own third, 40 in the middle, which is pretty much fair enough, but then 28% in the opposition third. At the start of the season, the first 5 games, this was more the second dominating factor here behind the middle third. So right here, right now, of course, all the explosivity, all the pressure, all the high tempo football seems to have disappeared. With pretty much pinning our hopes on counter attacks. Really, that's what it feels like at the moment. As for the opposition, 27% of their possession is kept in the opposition third, of course 29% in their own defensive third, 44% in the middle. As for where we come around on the field with the ball, 38% of the times coming down the left, 37% down the right, and 25% down the middle. As for Coventry, they prefer the right-hand side quite convincingly. So whoever's at left back must be on their bloody toes. 25% down the middle, 35% down the right. As for shots, as for Rovers, 59% of all their shots coming in the 18-yard box, 37% long range bad boys, and 4% in that scrappy dappy-doo area, which we're not optimising. Of course, look at Coventry, 9% of all their shots in the 6-yard area. That's where Dak should be, and that's where he should be burying it. But Mowbray decides to play him out left or right back, wherever he feels. 53% of all their shots in the 18-yard box, and 38% of all their shots outside the box. As for Whereabouts on the field? Of course, 63% are down the middle, 21% coming at you down the left, and 16% down the right. 74% for Coventry shots coming down the middle as well, and then a couple of split down the left and right hand side. Let's take a look at the goals per game. Of course, Rovers are free scoring still, even in defeat. We still managed to score quite a couple of goals as well. Of course, 45 goals this season, 31 through open play, 4 set pieces, 6 counter-attacks, 4 penalties. As for Coventry, they got 29 goals this season, 18 through open play, 7 set pieces. That's what, of course, they'll be pinning their hopes on this weekend. 2 penalties and 2 OGs as well. And there you go. Take a look at the shots per game. We're on the cusp there, about 1.5 goals per game. That's both home and away. So if we can get over that lump again, then we'll round it back up on average to 2 goals a game, both home and away. Let's take a look at the opposition then, of course, conceding. Rovers conceded 37 goals. Fortunately for Rovers, Coventry conceded more than that, 43. 25 through open play for Rovers, 8 set pieces, 1 counter-attack, 2 penalties and 1 own goal. 9 penalties conceded by Coventry. Goodness gracious me. You eliminate those from the discussion, and guess what? Things start to clean up a little bit for Coventry. So it might not be putting the hopes on the goalkeeper. It's more the back 3 or back 4, depending on how they set up. So yeah, eliminate that, and I'm sure they'll alleviate a lot of their problems. Let's take a look at the grand master plan here. Of course, since 1993, Rovers have taken on Coventry 17 times. There's been 6 wins apiece and 5 draws. Rovers' biggest win over Coventry in that cluster of 17 matches was a 4-0 win. Coventry's biggest win over Rovers was a 5-0 win. In total, though, Rovers scoring 29 goals in those 17 matches, 23 goals for Coventry, of course. On average, 1.71 goals a game against Coventry, 1.35 for Coventry against Rovers. This is the tail of the tape right here. 5 defeats on the spin. Of course, you can spin it a different way, and this is what it could spin at the end of it. Because Coventry have also got 1 win in the past 6 as well, but they've got a draw. They've managed to break up that inconsistency with picking up some points. We're sitting 15th at the moment. They're in 20th. Goodness gracious me, we were so on the cusps of it, and of course there has been fortune and favours above us, the likes of Bournemouth and Reading not picking up the points, basically opening up the floodgates for the opposition teams to close in on the top 6, but Rovers failing to take that advantage. And if I was me, if this was my baby and I put my millions and millions of pounds in this club and I want to see them prosper and succeed, I'd be looking at this and thinking, I think we missed the opportunity here. We should be closing in on that top 6, but unfortunately we are falling away. We are falling away. This win, I'm already calling it a win. It should be a win. Other than a win, it has to change. Shit has to change. 6 defeats on the row, losing to Coventry City at home, back-to-back defeats at home. You can't go on, and Mowbray has to realise that. Does take place right here, of course, in the Garden of Eden. That's right, it is Ewood Body Park, of course. Rovers hoping to stop the rot. And honestly, that if they do stop the rot and they get the win, maybe, and that's a big old maybe, it doesn't change everything and say, you know what, it's now 1 win in the past 6 games. It's still, I think pressure should be on, and he should kick on forward, because right around the corner we've got Reading, and if we win that, if we can beat Coventry and then we can beat Reading, maybe it'll be a platform to kick on further. I'm not talking about, let's not even think about anything crazy. We're in 15th, people. We've got to realise that we're in 15th. We're closer to the drop than we are to the top, so let's figure that out first before we get our everything else messed up. Take a look then at stats and figures, and coming at you, of course, Armstrong still leads the charge with Rovers, 20 goals this season, and he got himself another one the other day, 5 goals for him, 4 for Gallagher, 4 for Brereton. He's also up there in the charts as well. As for discipline, Justin's got himself 6 yellows, as has Lennon. Rothwell's got 5 even, and Douglas has got 4. Lennon got a red card as well. As for Coventry goals coming at you from Walker, Hamer, who's been a bit of a revelation for me, I think. Gordon as well, and Biamu getting the goal scores. Leo Skiddy Ostergaard get himself 8 yellows so far this season, 7 for Hamer. O'Hare's got 5 and Sheaf's got 4. McFadden, Rose and Hamer also got red cards to their bloody name. Let's take a look at the table situation here. This is the home and away split, so you can have a look at it. Rovers winning just 6 of their 15 games at home, 4 draws and 5 defeats. Scoring 23 goals, conceding 18. As for Coventry's away, just 2 wins all season away. Can they get it a third? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's take a look at the players that are going to be missing. Confirmed Holtby, Ayala, Wharton, Ranky Costello and Bradley Johnson, alongside Sam Gallagher. They are all out. For me, I would, if all these guys were fit, I would have Bradley Johnson in that starting lineup. I think since without him, that midfield has lacked professionalism, has lacked experience, has lacked composure, has lacked that big boss man midfielder, which goes unrated. Yes, we can pin our hopes on Davenport. Davenport's also out. We can add to that list as well. Then there might be others. In fact, there probably are a whole bunch of others. Godden and Jones, Jody Jones are out for Coventry, so Godden's goals being replaced elsewhere. There's also the curious case of Darrell Lennon. I don't know what's gone on with that. But this is the starting lineup I've gone for, and of course I've talked about it. I've opted for the 4-3-3 with Dak included. So this is what I would go for, but again, don't trust me, don't believe in what I'm picking here, because Mowbray has his own way of doing things. I've gone with Kaminsky, Douglas, Branthwaite, Lenihan and Nyambe. Don't know what the deal is with Lenihan. He's missed the back 2 games. I don't know if there's some sort of suspension issue or something, or there's something behind the scenes or whatever. Nyambe did feature last time around, and I believe, he should get the start ahead of, your Bennett's at right back, whoever. He should start. Travis needs to be in there. He is on his day when he decides to be at his best. Probably one of the best scrappy-dappy-do midfielders in the league. Dak needs to play, and if we play him in the middle of this trio, he can explore and move further forward and track back, because he likes to do his own thing, and maybe that's probably the best role he can do. Then I've got in, of course, Elliot Bennett. He can also be a leader on this team if Lennon's there, potentially wearing the captain's armband, but of course Bennett traditionally and on paper is the actual club captain. 2 leaders in there, one at the back 4, one in the midfield, and then of course you've got Adam Armstrong, who's been captain of the team for the past 2 games up top. So at every level you've got a commander in chief there to kind of dictate the play and kind of get people in line. Track back, bloody Rothwell. Get back here, Elliot. Kind of grab him by the scruff of the neck, and of course make him work a team. This is no gimme. We've seen Coventry turn over Brentford. We've seen him turn over some of the decent teams this season. They're there, and then they're there on merit. So let's give them some credit here. We did have a lucky game against them at their place, St Andrews or whatever you want to call it, but it's going to be a completely different ball game this time around. I expect them to be 11 against 11 for the most part of the game, so I don't expect any fortunes that way. So we need a performance, lads, and this is prime performance time. If you lose or draw or scrape a 1-0 win, guess what? Nothing changes. In fact, it will get worse. You need to put down a benchmark, a performance, and I'm taking you've got to go for this. Not a 1-0 win will not do it for me. A 1-0 win, 70% possession will do absolutely nothing. You need to put a benchmark down, get Armstrong in amongst the goals, get Dak in amongst the goals, get that feel-good factor back. We need something positive to move onwards, because right around the corner we have Reading, Flying Eye. We're going down the Majewski. It's definitely not a gimme, and that could be an absolute embarrassment as well. And I don't want to, if we head it out of this 6 defeats in a row, realistically he has to go. He has to step aside. Waggett has to be the big man, the brave man, and say, we're airtight, best muds, but we're going to have to part ways this time around, and then just step aside and bring in get somebody new. But it's a very, in any other football environment or any other championship club, you can get a bit more, you can be a little bit more ballsy with those decisions. But with Rovers, we've been bitten badly by past appointments, and of course, it's a very, very scary world. We all have a dream sheet of who we would want to manage the club if this opportunity arises. But of course, the buck stops somewhere else. We're not paying the bills. We're not paying the wages. They're going to go for a cheap option. I'm sure it is. Who's cheap? Is Marcuse a cheap option? Are the Cowley brothers a cheap option? Is Eddie Howe a cheap option? Bloody Lampard, of course not. The list gets more and more expensive as you scribble the names down. I'm worried. I'm worried for the future of Rovers if we don't do this right. 15th right now. We'll have a look at where we could end up in a minute, of course. But let's take a look at the opposition here. Of course, Wilson 26, Hyam at back for Isa El Capitano, McFadden, Ostergaard as well. McCallum on the left, Acosta on the right, Kelly, Hamer, of course, O'Hare, Biamu and Walker will probably start. They've got a back 3 here as well, of course, which we've not been very, very good against either. So we'll see about that. Of course, the recent record between Rovers and Coventry. This is actually Addywood Park. We haven't won. We haven't won in at least 13 years. We drew last round in the FA Cup as a 2-2 draw. Roque Santa Cruz on the score sheet. Christopher Samba as well. Aaron Gunnarsson and Michael Doyle getting the goal for Coventry. Of course, that was a long time ago anyway. And we also lost as well. A 4-1 win. Michael Mufsid, Maltese international. I think he's still playing. Elliot Ward on the score sheet from the penalty spot. Oh my embarrassment. Dele Adebola as well. David Bentley on the score sheet for Rovers. That must have been a bad day. I think it might have been a huge day. Of course, overall, out of the past 5 encounters, we've won 2 of them, though. I'm actually heading into this haven't losing to Coventry in 11 years, of course. But look at some of those names there. Leon Best is there back in the day. Smallwood got a goal in the League Cup, of course. I remember that was a ripper, I'm sure. Corey Evans, Dominic Samuel got on the score sheet. Of course, earlier in the season, Armstrong got a couple of goals. Elliott and Gallagher as well. That was when the feel-good factor was in prime time condition. But of course, since then, it's nowhere been near. Of course, this is what Rovers are heading into this. Of course, 5 defeats on the spin. Of course, Watford, there was a bit of fight in there, just a little bit too late. And Watford I'm not going to give any excuses. We should be winning this game at home if we are supposed to be top 6 candidates, but not. Forest, shit show. Barnsley, absolute embarrassment. Preston North End at home, piss take. QPR as well. Goodness gracious me. As for Coventry, they come into this on the back of the defeat to Swansea. They did beat Brentford, which is good. They've played the top 3 teams and come out of it looking okay. They did lose to Cardiff, and they also got a draw against Watford at home as well. So you know what? They ain't no slouches. This is the journey so far from Rovers, of course, to the first couple of games where everyone was talking about us. It's our year. And even here, we kind of clawed it way back. And of course, this was at the end of January where shit was looking good. Heading into a winnable month of February, which right here, right now, I'm very, very happy, or I'm pleased to see the back of. That's the words I'm looking at. Because since then, we have been the shittest team in town, of course. Coventry just been steady Eddie. But they're kind of going down a little bit here, and unfortunately for them, hopefully anyway, I'd love to see them stick around. Hopefully they've got enough of the tank to stick around here. A win this weekend, of course, could do them the world of good. They come into this, though, they're away form without a win in 5. That's good news for Rovers. Just 1 win in 6 for Rovers at Ewood Park. It was against Luton, and it was shit. We were shit here. We won, but we were shit here against Stoke, embarrassing against Doncaster, shit against Sheffield Wednesday. It's been shit, Mowbray, really has. That's the tail of the tape. Shite, brother. Of course, this is the overall form here. Rovers are right down there with Bristol City, alongside Preston as well, Birmingham and Reading. Fortunately, Reading are right around the corner. Hopefully, they have another shit one this weekend to maybe us to kind of nibble on them. Coventry are down there as well in 19th, so we're down there. We're kind of scrapping with them all. Our home form is average. We're 15th on home form. Coventry's home form is a little bit better than us, but we're not focused about that. We're focused about their away form, which is 20th right now in the old league table. The likes of Cardiff, QPR kicking ass and taking names. At the end of this one, Rovers will be taking on, of course, Reading this midweek. Must-win game. Millwall, must-win game. Swansea, difficult game on Tuesday, the 9th of March. Difficult. Brentford, nailed on hard. 3 home games in a spin. Realistically, you would want to see Rovers get wins. And again, I honestly think this is it. It has to be Waggett, Venky's, somebody. You're looking at this game as a net must-win for his back was against the wall against Watford. His back is well pinned against the wall now. The fans are there. They might have come out of it thinking, oh, it was at least a positive fight. But this is it. Lose this one. He has to go. You have to. He has become a burden. I don't want to say it, but I want to see a performance, Mowbray. I don't want to see no average shite, and then of course us scramble down towards the foot of the table. After this, you've got 5 games that a new manager could revitalise this Rovers and put a Mick McCarthy spin on things. I know he's not up for grabs, but Mark Hughes, a guy that's been here, he knows where the bloody toilets are, he knows where the cafeteria is, he knows everything. He doesn't have to be shepherded around for the first 2 weeks on the job. He knows where everything is. He's probably still got his, all his best mates still working at the club, of course. So there is potential out there if you want to do this. If you want to move forward and have a good era yourself, a tenure Waggett, Venky's, you got to be bold. You got to make a move. These businesses are made on cutthroat decisions. Right here, right now, those decisions are the future of Mowbray and Rovers. Of course, that's what I've had to say. What about the Digicast? Digicast, what you got for me? Show me what you're talking about. You have the Digicast's verdict, you have a little bit of my verdict. Usually right about now, we would go and check out the brfcs.com forum, but I'm over there right now. I don't see much action. A lot of people are down in the bloody dumps. I'm down in the dumps. Those guys, they're usually full of vocals and very, very passionate about it and everything. So they're obviously not happy, because right now it's noon Friday. We are less than or approaching 24 hours before kickoff, and nobody said a thing. But anyway, what's going on elsewhere in the championship? Let's take a little look at it then, shall we? Of course, heading into see the stats. Of course, that flatter to deceive. Rovers are featured in 3 of these sort of 5 key charts. The ratings one is all opinion based, but the rest are hardcore statisticians here. Rovers, of course, the 4th best possession based team, alongside Norwich. Brentford are in there as well. But guess what? They're flying high. We are not. As for the most aggressive side, Stoke still lead the charge. They're 57 yellows, 3 reds. Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday, QPR and Forest make up your pack 5. As for aerial duels, we're 3rd in those. But it would you would think we would be. That means we would be good at corners, good at free kicks. No, we're a joke. We're an absolute joke. I'm livid. I curse the day. I used to look forward to corners back in the day when Mowbray would be fizzing them in, not only to get them in on goal or in the goal, but actually just put them on a penny for the likes of a tall, lanky piece of piss, a Lenihan or a Branthwaite or somebody that's commanding in the air to stick it in the back of the bins. But right now we're a joke. We play it short. Maybe that's because we have Adam Armstrong. Maybe it is because we have Bradley Dack. It's frustrating though, you know. And they amount to nothing. The absolute. Why don't you just fizz it in? The ball's in the air, or just cause some mayhem in the box, and you might get a couple of scrappy dappy do. Dack's right there on the penny, and put it in the back of the net. As for shots per game, we're 2nd. Yeah, pass accuracy again. We were up there, but of course we've dribbled down a little bit now. Let's take a look at the table as it stands. Okay, so this is the worst case scenario. If we were to lose and the teams below us won, we could potentially be all the way down to 19th at the end of this game. 19th. That is hovering. I know there's a bit of a gap, but still 19th. Not 6th, not 10th, not 12th, not even 15th. 19th. Put that in your pipe and smoke it a little bit. Just have a little and think, shit the bed, Mowbray. This is not what you planned. And you know what? Some people just, you know, when shit doesn't go right, you go, like you're trying to make a cake. You're trying to make a cake. You put everything in there and you're supposed to be, you read the instructions or you're supposed to make something. And they say, must be this kind of texture. And you look at yours and it's like a brick. You're like, oh, I think I've done this wrong. Something ain't working out. You either throw the shit in the trash or you think, forget about it. I'll just go and order it. I'll buy a cake from the baker and forget about making it. Mowbray, that's what's happening right now. You've either got to save it by adding a bit of water in there or a bit of flour or something to kind of spring back life back into your masterpiece, or you just think, screw this shit, I'm done. I've done okay, but 6 defeats on the ring. They're not listening. They're not listening to you. Shit's not happening. And even you can spin your injuries, you can spin the opposition, you can spin the weather, spin COVID. It's not working. It's time to take a bow. Anywho, let's take a look at what else is going on. Of course, Derby against Forest today. Not going to do too much on my plate. Of course, the early game tomorrow will be Bournemouth against Watford. We want Watford to win that game, to kind of keep Bournemouth again, just to keep us. I don't believe in the Bournemouth right now. I don't. I think Watford looked good, clinical against us, explosive front line. Experience at the back. Reading against Rotherham against Reading and whatever. The Battle of the R's. Preston against Huddersfield, of course, relegation 6 pointed down there. Barnsley, Millwall, a win for either of those two sides. They could enter the top 6. Swansea against Bristol City, of course. Bristol City new manager bounce potentially up against the high flyer Swansea. Difficult one that. Luton Town against Sheffield Wednesday, 6 pointer as well down here. Brentford against Stoke. Win for Stoke gets them right back in it. Birmingham against QPR flying. Birmingham need a result. Middlesbrough against Cardiff in the Warnock derby, and Wickham against Norwich in the Lambert derby there on Sunday. Of course, the goal scorers charts right here, right now. Ivan Toney leads the charge by 5 goals. Armstrong still up there, 19 goals. Jao, though, and Pookie gaining on them, of course, and of course the chase in pack. Assists, Elliott's got 9 alongside Tony, Buenda, Olise, and Wilson. And I think that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the old thumbs up, smash the old subscribe, keep your bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related. Whoa, football, what are we going to do here? Under warm brewski. And again, check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook. Make sure you hook me up there, especially if you get any breaking Rovers news. I'd like to know if shit breaks out with Mowbray, if anything else kicks off. Let me know in the old Twitter or in the comments. I always check the comments out to see what's going on. Anyway, until then, though, be sure to give this a look. I'll do a watch long for this game. Rovers versus Coventry. Hopefully, by the time this video goes on, you'll see a place mark for it on the channel. So make sure you bookmark it, hit the little bell, make sure you get a reminder. Then we'll meet up again live on Saturday. Hopefully, for the first Rovers win in 5 or 6 or whatever. Anyway, until then, I'm out. Smash the subscribe, smash the thumbs up, and I'll see you all next time.